favorite day. Today we're going to be making my family's favorite sweet potato brownies. So I made these a couple of days ago and it was a batch of 16 and within 24 hours they were all gone. So I guess that shows that it's a pretty good recipe and everyone likes it. No one in my family is actually vegan or dairy-free or whatever, but they all loved it and said that it tastes as good or better than any brownie they've ever had before. So we have wet ingredients, dry ingredients, some mix-ins, as well as some toppings. So I'll walk you through them all now. So in the front we have a cooked sweet potato that I cooked in the oven for about an hour. Then we have vanilla bean extract, almond butter and maple syrup. Now moving on to the dry ingredients, we have a little bit of salt, some baking powder, cocoa powder, hemp protein powder and white spelt flour. And then into the mix-ins, we have walnuts and some dark chocolate. I love this 70% Lindt dark chocolate because it is dairy-free. All right, now it's time to get started. I'll see you soon. Firstly, let's set the oven to 165 degrees Celsius. All right, so we start with the almond butter. It's 1 cup of almond butter, and that is almost the whole jar that I have, which is from Woolworths, this jar of almond butter. And it's just 100% almonds in there. Then we go in with half a cup of maple syrup. Get that all in. And then we will put the sweet potato. So you want to get it out from the skin, put it into a bowl, and then you'll just mash that up so it's a good consistency with no big lumps in there. So now we've got 1 teaspoon of vanilla bean extract. And so yeah, now I'm just mashing that up so that it mixes well. And that comes to about 3/4 of a cup. And that's 1 medium sweet potato. So you might have a little bit more, a little bit less, but you probably want more than a half cup and less than a full cup would be ideal. So yeah, then we just mix that all together. And oh my gosh, if you taste this, it tastes so good on its own. Like, I don't know, I feel like I need to make that into a separate recipe, like that in a tart or something would be so good. Okay, now we're going on to the dry ingredients. So 1/4 of a cup of white spelt flour is what I'm using, but you could definitely use another type of flour if you don't have that type. So then I'm going in with 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And this is essential so that they rise a bit when they're baking. So definitely don't forget the baking powder. And so now I'm going in with 2 tablespoons of hemp protein powder. You can use any type of protein powder you have. Just, you know, you don't want it to be too flavored, but like a chocolate flavor, vanilla flavor, or plain protein powder all works fine. You could also not use protein powder and just put 2 extra tablespoons of flour. So then we're just going in with, I guess, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I just did a few shakes of that. And then we have cocoa powder. So this is my favorite cocoa powder, the Cadbury Bourneville Cocoa. You can just get it from Woolies. And I put in 1/4 cup as well as 2 to 3 tablespoons. So I like mine extra chocolatey, but I guess, yeah, that's what I do. So have a go. All right, so now we are just mixing up all the dry ingredients. You want to get it well combined, so the baking powder is well combined throughout. So then I put in about half of it into the wet mixture and mix that all up. And then after that's all mixed up, you put in the rest of it. And it took me a while to mix this all through because it's quite a thick texture for these brownies. Because of the almond butter and the sweet potato, you really have to stir it for quite a while to really just incorporate everything so you don't have any pockets of, you know, dry mixture in there. You really want it well combined. So then I'm going in with the walnuts. I think I put about 10 walnuts in. And so that's just to give it a bit of crunch throughout. And then I put, not quite all of this whole packet, I put in, I think, 8 blocks of dark chocolate. 6 would be fine as well because I found there were definitely quite a few blocks of chocolate in the brownies. I guess it just depends how much chocolate, added chocolate you want in the brownie. Obviously, the less, the healthier it is because there is a bit of added sugar in this chocolate, but it is quite minimal because we're using dark Lindt chocolate here. So here I have a square tin that I've lined with foil. You could also line this with baking paper. I didn't have any on hand, but foil actually worked really well, better than I thought it would, so I would recommend using foil if you have that. And so you want to try spread it as evenly as you can, try get it into all the corners. And then finally I topped this with some extra walnuts. So I actually placed one, so I did 4x4, so that's how I was going to cut it. So each piece gets a little walnut on top. So yeah, it turns out like that, looks really beautiful. And now it is time to put it in the oven. So it's all preheated, 165 degrees Celsius. And I'm setting a little timer for 20 minutes just so I don't forget to take them out of the oven. So now it's time to wait. Your house will be smelling delicious because they have such a great aroma. All right, so my alarm just went off, so I'm gonna take them out of the oven now. They smell so good. This is what they look like, fresh out of the oven. Okay. So I'm just gonna leave them to sit in the pan for about 5 minutes just to cool down slightly, and then I'll transfer them onto this wire rack. Okay, so now it's time to take it out of the pan. So as you can see, I lifted it off with the foil onto a wire rack, and then I just slowly peeled off the foil. You just want to be careful that it doesn't stick to it too much. Definitely leave it for a few minutes before you attempt this because otherwise it will stick. So then what I did was I got out a big plate, I put that on top, and then I did the little flip around trick, as you can see here. And then you peel off the foil. Actually came off pretty easily, which was lucky. And then I did that flip around trick again so that I had it the right way up to cool on the wire rack. So I left it for another probably about 10 minutes before I chopped it up. And then as you can see, I chopped it up into 16 kind of equal pieces, as equal as I could get them. Doesn't really matter too much. And now to serve up my brownie, I decided to serve it with some raspberries. So I got some frozen raspberries in a little dish and put them in the microwave for 1 minute just to make it into a little raspberry coulis. You would know this trick if you watched my other video on protein pancakes, because I like to use this as a healthy topping for my pancakes as well. So then I just put the brownie on a plate and I put a scoop of coconut yogurt for a bit of creaminess. And then I put my raspberries on top, and there you go. All right, so now for the moment of truth, the taste test. Get a bit of raspberry. It's the texture of this brownie that's so good. From the sweet potato and the almond butter and the maple syrup, it has such a fudgy kind of texture, but it still has that kind of hard edge on the top. And combined with the raspberries and the walnuts, oh my God, so good. All right, well, I'm gonna go sit down and eat the rest of this delicious brownie. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you try this out. It is seriously so good. It really doesn't take that much effort. It's quite minimal ingredients and it's delicious and it's so much healthier than any brownie you could buy in a restaurant or in a store. So yeah, try it out. Let me know how it goes. And remember that you can always swap out the walnuts for any other type of nut or just leave them out completely. As well as the hemp protein powder, you can swap that to any type of protein powder or just leave it as the spelt flour. So you just put an extra 2 tablespoons of spelt flour. And yeah, you can use any type of berry you want. Instead of the coconut yogurt, you can have ice cream to make it a bit more decadent. But often I will just eat the brownie on its own with no toppings, but this is just a little special one to have as a treat. And yeah, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you all soon. Bye!